So the stats just came up for the month of May for Oakville, and out of all the cities I've covered so far, Oakville has taken the biggest hit. I would say Brampton is right up there, but in terms of average prices, Oakville is hurting. We're going to get into all that kind of stuff, but let me just give you a quick overview of what I'm talking about. And I think you're going to want to stick around if you're thinking of buying or selling in Oakville. Okay, so let's get started. As always, I am a real estate agent, and if you guys need any help, realtorvic.ca is where you can find me. That's the end of my sales pitch. Okay, so we're going to be covering a bunch of things, and a few things I want to cover because the public doesn't have access to those stats. So I think it's just important to see everything you can before you guys jump in, because you're talking about a lot of money, especially if it's in Oakville. This is for detached homes only. We're going to be getting into other types of homes as well, but just a quick snapshot of what I'm talking about. Detached homes have dropped over 500 grand just this year. If you look at January to May, January, February is kind of where the market peaked. Average prices were almost $2.5 million, and they dropped under $2 million just in 5 months. And that's a drop of 568,000. So that's average prices. And I thought maybe I'm wrong. Like maybe it can't be that high. But when I looked at median, I thought median might be around like the $300,000 mark or so, but it's not. Same thing here. It was at 2.3, and now it's under 1.8, and that's a drop of 511,000. So that's a huge drop, like $500,000 within 5 months. So number of sales is also important, and you can see here like February, March was the busiest months of the year. Now spring is always busy, and that's the reason why these two are concerning, because if March was around 400 listings sold, April, May should be around like 600 or so, because that's usually the trend. As the weather gets better, the more listings come out and more buyers go out to see houses. So these should be a lot higher than they are, and instead they seem to be going the wrong way. We're selling less homes. Actually, like May was like the second slowest month of the year, only except for January so far. So that's a bit concerning, but I think it's important to know if you guys are going to be jumping into the market. Days on market, I think this is also important. Now this is not what's available right now. This is what's already sold for the month of May. So we had 259 listings sold in the month of May, and out of those, 99 of them took longer than 2 weeks to sell. I always say this in every video. You guys are probably bored of it. Taking longer than 2 weeks is nothing special. 3 to 4 weeks used to be the norm in a normal market. But I always bring this up because if you guys were checking the stats here for January and February, hardly anything was taking longer than 2 weeks to sell, because everything was selling. Like as soon as you put it up, you get 5 offers. So that's the reason I bring this up, because you guys should know which way the market's going. And you can see it's been steadily going up, 27, 28, 60, 68, 99, probably crossed the 100 mark for sure in June. So that's the reason I bring this up. I think it's important to know just to kind of see like what's going on day to day. And cancel listings. I always cover this as well. I don't see this covered in some other videos, but same thing here. You can see the trend. Like very few listings got canceled in January, a little bit more, and you can see here this is where it kind of takes off because the rates hike came in. It was 0.25 in March, and then 0.5 in April, and then another one just happened a few days ago. So we will see how that affects the market in a couple of months. But this is the effect of the first 2 rate hikes so far. So 192 cancellations, and then 247 and 297 in May. That's a very high number. So let's say we sold 259 listings, and we actually canceled more than what we sold. Not me personally, obviously, but I'm just saying in general on the real estate board. Okay, so number of sales is down compared to March, compared to February even. How long things are sitting on the market is way up. And how many listings are getting canceled, that's also way up. This is only for Oakville, just keep in mind. Now let's cover prices. Now these are average prices. As I showed you before, median is not too far off for detached homes as well. So these are average prices that I'm going to be covering from here on. You can see here you were almost at the 2.5 million mark. As I showed you guys before, it's just under $2 million now. So we're at 568 that detached homes in Oakville are down. Okay, pretty scary stat. Now also for semi-detached not doing too badly, but it's not a big market in Oakville for semis. Selling over 1.4 in the month of June and down to just a little bit under 1.3. So that's a drop of $136,000 just in 5 months. Freehold townhouses, there's a lot of those in Oakville, and they were almost at the 1.5 million mark and now selling just over 1.2. That's also a significant drop of $183,000. Condo townhouses, same thing here, over $200,000 drop. And now they're selling under 900, which is still high, but not bad for Oakville, because as you can see here, like they were over the $1 million mark for a condo townhouse. Condo buildings not doing too badly. Just like any other market, I've covered other markets before, like Burlington, Brampton, Mississauga, Milton. What I've always noticed is condos always don't take the biggest hit because they're still kind of like an entry-level market. So anything that's over the $1 million or around the $2 million mark, those are the ones that take the biggest hit, because when the rates go up, a lot of people can't afford those anymore. SNLR and months of inventory. Now, SNLR just means sales to new listings ratios, like how many are selling, how many are coming up, and the ratio in between them. Now, as I mentioned before, this is not like a scientific method. It's more of just like a general guideline, like a rough idea industry uses. If that number happens to be below 40%, we are in a buyer's market. If it's anywhere between 40 to 60, you are in a balanced market, and anything above 60 is a seller's market. Now I'm going to show you guys some stats. Might be a little bit shocking considering the other stats we just looked at. Okay, so what I've done is, this is straight from the Toronto Real Estate Board. I just took a screenshot here. I looked at January, and because I'm comparing everything to January, I'm not going back to September last year, or I'm not starting at March this year. I'm comparing everything just from the beginning of the year to so far what we have. Okay, so SNLR is what we want. You can see there's other cities here as well, like Milton, Brampton, Mississauga. But for this video, we're focusing on Oakville. So SNLR for Oakville in January was 77.5. And so that would make it a strong seller's market. And no surprise there, we kind of expected that. And right now, it's at 67%. Now you might say, okay, well, that's good because it's still a seller's market. Yeah, technically it is a seller's market, but that's a big drop. That's a 10% drop in 5 months. Now, it's not really too concerning if you have a nice home. Like, homes are still selling. I'm not trying to discourage you from selling your house. I'm not saying the market has totally, like, there's homes selling. It's not like we sold 0 homes in the month of May. It's just you guys want to kind of keep an eye on which way the trend is going. So this number is coming down pretty fast, like 10% drop in 5 months. And prices are way down, like everything's down over $200,000. And canceled listings are way up. Days on market is way up. And number of sales is way down. So I know it's a lot of bad news, but I want to share it with you guys because I think it's important to know. It's not like, you know, you're buying like a slice of pizza and, you know, like if it doesn't work out, well, who cares? I just throw it away. You're talking about millions of dollars, especially in Oakville. That's a very high-end market. So you guys want to be sure, like if you guys, you know, are thinking of buying a house somewhere else and you want to sell your Oakville house, I think it's good to know, like, is it going to take 3 days to sell or is it going to take a month now? So you can plan accordingly. And am I going to get like $2 million like I would have in February, or am I going to get like 1.7? That's a big chunk of change that, like, that's like life-changing money, that $300,000. I know for me it is, you know, at least. So you need that 1.7 number. That's a more realistic number in today's market, not the winter's market, because some agents might tell you, okay, yeah, it's still worth $2 million because they might be afraid that if they tell you the 1.7, you might not list with them. So just be careful out there. Lots of great agents out there. I'm not saying anything bad. Lots of great agents out there, but some not so good ones. So please be careful out there. If you guys need any help, like I said, I've been around like 21 years. RealtorVic.ca is where you can find me, and I think that's about it. Thank you. See you. Bye.